Welcome to Mel's Diner, a place where stories and songs build community and connections. My name is Matthew Merson, and each guest at Mel's Diner heads over to the Jukebox, selects really important, sentimental, and valuable songs to them, and then shares those stories of how each song gained that personal and powerful meaning in their life. So let's order some food, a cup of coffee, and grab a seat at the counter and listen to some of those amazing stories and songs. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, my friends, and welcome into Mel's Diner. We have an amazing interview and some amazing songs for you to hear today, and I cannot wait for you to hear these stories and then the songs that go with them. And we're going to get to that in just a moment because I'm super stoked for you to hear it. But I just want to give you a little bit of behind the scenes about this podcast before we get into hopefully why you're here. So this is my first rodeo. I am new to this whole podcasting thing. I love music and I love sharing music, as you probably know. But yeah, there's a lot that I'm learning. So there are going to be some changes, maybe every episode or as I figure things out, there are going to be some things that are different. And I want to make you aware of some of those things. The first thing, which I am so excited about, is the music. How do you hear the music? And this is our second episode. The first episode, I've had people reach out like, the stories were amazing. I loved it. Loved hearing your dad talk about those things, but I'd love to hear the songs. For now, all the songs that are discussed or all the jukebox selections that our guests select, I make into a playlist. A lot of you know this, but a lot of you may not know where to find that music. So it is in the show notes. I am moving the link. It was kind of buried and you kind of had to, go down in the show notes and find it, but hopefully it's right there in the show notes. It should be the top thing. So if you click on that link or one of those links, it'll take you right to the playlist. And you can listen to those songs. You can listen to them in between the conversation, however you want to do it. There are the songs in order that our guest has selected. Second thing with that, as you might see, and this, I am so excited for this, there are two links. One for Spotify playlist. If you are a paid Spotify listener, or even if you're not paying for Spotify, hopefully you can still listen to it. And Apple as well. So if you are an Apple Music subscriber, there is a playlist there that should open up right in your Apple Music. So if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, you can click that Apple link and it should take you right to that playlist on Apple. Vice versa with Spotify. If you're listening to this on another platform, hopefully you have some paid subscriptions to either of those Apple or Spotify subscriptions. So there are the songs. There's the jukebox selections. Bear with me as I just try to make this better. And if anyone's listening there and is a podcasting professional or a musician who will be like, hey, Matthew, it's super easy. Just do this, or, feel free to reach out. And that's the last thing I want to tell you is how you can reach out to me. So Mel's Diner Jukebox at gmail.com is the best way to get a hold of me. So you can email me there. You can email me with anything you want. You can say hello. You can give me feedback. You can tell me, all the problems that you hear in this. You can let me know all that stuff. Or what I actually kind of want you to do is if you're listening to this and you're like, you know what? I got some really cool stories and some really cool songs that I'd love to share. That's how you do it. Email me at that email. I will get back to you. We'll set up a time to either meet in person or record over the internet, and we can record our conversations. You can come into the diner and order some food and pick up some of your jukebox selections and share them with the world. So Mel's Diner Jukebox at gmail.com. All the songs from today's episode and the future episodes are going to be in a generated playlist right now, both Apple and Spotify. So choose the one that you like, choose the one that you prefer, and listen to these amazing songs. Okay, as I said, this interview is incredible. It's very dear to my heart. I can't wait for you to hear it. So without further ado, let's go on into Mel's Diner and see who's here, see who can tell us these amazing stories. All right. Hello. Welcome to Mel's Diner.
Thank you.
It's funny that you're here.
How so?
Well, because last week I had my first visitor. This is the second week of Mel's Diner. Last week was my father that stopped in, and here you are.
Your mother.
My mom is here.
That's right.
So did Dad tell you about the Reuben sandwich that he got at the diner, or?
He loves his Reubens.
And okay, so now you're here. So I'm so thankful you're here, Mom.
Thanks for inviting me.
I want to know, before we get into the songs that you pick, because Mel's Diner here has this magic jukebox, and what I'm going to ask you to do in a second is go over to the jukebox, choose a minimum of 5 songs, maybe up to 10 songs that are very important to you, and I'm going to ask you to come back and then tell me why you chose those songs, and then we'll sit and we'll listen to those songs together. But so that's the premise. I don't know if you're in here. This jukebox in the corner has every song in the world, or almost every song in the world. Then we can cue that up for you. But before we do, what is your relationship to music? Like, are you a music lover yourself, or?
I do enjoy music. I don't listen to it to the degree that you do, pretty much nonstop, only because I work in a noisy environment and sometimes the downtime needs to be quiet. So,
Yeah.
But I do enjoy music, all genres.
Yeah. I remember that growing up. How would you say music was growing up, when I was growing up?
Well, when you're young, I guess it was Dad's music that influenced a lot. But then as you and your brother got older and bedroom doors were shut, you guys were listening to your own kind of thing, almost nonstop.
Sure. Yeah. So music, but so I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you, but because you're my mom, and what is this about stories? Like,
that's right.
Music growing up. I mean, I have my memories of music in our house. I don't remember a lot, but like you said, like a lot of it was kind of maybe me and my brother listening to music on our own. It wasn't a lot playing out loud that I recall. Although I do remember you playing like AM, FM radio, where you clean the house. I have this vivid memory of like country music, like a 90s, modern radio country coming out of us very small, like bedroom, bedside table radio.
Yes, the nightstand.
Yep. You're vacuuming or something, and that stereo has that very kind of cheap sound that actually has a very nostalgic sound to it. And I remember you had a stereo or like a CD player mounted underneath the
kitchen cabinet.
Kitchen cabinet had a CD player, and then that actually had it's like a Bose thing. Yep. But yeah, I remember music coming out of those speakers.
Yep. I remember when you started getting into CDs, you would put the CDs in that under cabinet CD player, and you were the DJ.
Well, I remember. Yeah, I loved washing the dishes because it was like a time for me to. It's like 40 minutes or 30 minutes of just listening to music in the kitchen on that speaker. And then I remember I know our dad talked about this, but that cabinet stereo system that we had, it was like a record player on top.
Yes, and the big speakers.
Big speakers. I remember lying on the floor myself listening to music from that. But
yep.
What about when you were growing up? Was music a big part of your life?
It was. I have memories of back then. It was the little 45 albums, and my mom, single mom, raising me and my brother and sister, and she'd have a whole stack of them, and you could stack like 10, 12 at a time, and it would just play one after the other, after the other, after the other, and it was the same songs over and over. But
do you remember? Well, maybe some of them are going to be on this on this list, but okay. What about some that aren't on that list? Who are some of those that you remember?
The one that's not on the list is there was Elvis mixed in there, and Love Me Tender, and all that kind of stuff, and then it was a whole mix. So it's hard to remember that long ago, but I just remember
it was popular music or rock and roll. Okay, yeah.
It was a mix, mostly rock and roll, old rock and roll.
But like, would you call it like soft rock or?
Well, this was the early 80s, so
so what popular rock in the 80s? Okay. And this was your mom's?
This was my
grandmother's?
Your grandmother's, yep. Which I'm sure you wish you had those 45s
now.
But...
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I've never seen the stack or even this player that would play these things.
She
I don't
got
remember.
rid of it at some point, but
okay. Well, Mom, before you go to the jukebox, since we are a diner, can I get you something to eat at the diner? So what is your diner order? If you could order anything, here we are at Mel's. Jukebox has every song. We can cook you anything you want, but we are a diner. So what are you eating here?
So
diner
the classic. Well, I'm not a cheeseburger girl, so it would be a hamburger with fries, ketchup, mustard, and pickles.
Okay,
that would be
just a classic American
classic with a chocolate shake. No cheese.
No cheese.
No
cheese. Okay, hamburger. What kind of fries?
You mean like curly cut
Like,
or
yeah,
shoestring?
skinny.
Just the whatever the diner has. Yeah,
Okay,
something
we'll
to
leave
deep
it up to
fry.
us.
Yeah, surprise
Okay,
me.
awesome. Well, let's go on your. We'll get your cheese, or I'm sorry, hamburger.
Hamburger. No cheese.
No cheese. Is that because it's evening when we're talking right now, or is just if you were to go to a diner, that's just what you'd want, a classic burger?
I just don't like cheese. So
No, I mean like what? Not breakfast food is what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
Are
depends
you
on
saying a
time of the day.
burger
Because it's evening, it would be
yes,
a dinner
full
meal.
disclosure,
Yes.
it is 7
Breakfast
p.m.,
pancakes
7:30.
always. That's right.
Okay, okay. All right, so right now, which I think should be maybe the question that I ask anyone else who comes in these doors.
Yes.
At this time right now, yes. Okay, cool. Okay, so you got your list of songs. What's number one?
I do. So going back to that memory of childhood and those 45s, Kristofferson was in that mix.
Oh,
Why
wow.
Me, Lord?
Oh,
and
wow.
I could still hear my mother's voice belting that out.
Oh man.
As he sang. So that every time I hear it, even now, I'm there. I am in that place again, and I can hear it.
So is it all Kristofferson or just Why Me,
That was
Lord?
the song. That was on that side. I don't know what was on the other side of the 45 of his, but that was the one that was always playing. So
was that so I called her Mama. So was that Mama's one of her favorite songs,
or
was that just in the
it was in
rotation?
the mix. I think she liked him.
Of course, I think a lot of
as an actor and as a singer. So
a lot of ladies her age may have liked Kris.
I think that's how he ended up in the mix. Top of the list. Top of the pile.
Wonderful. Yeah, that sounds like a sweet memory.
Yes.
That sounds like a very sweet memory.
I remember the apartment. It was orange shag carpet. I remember that. I remember where their stereo was set up.
Can you give us a year when this is playing?
So it was probably late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is what part of the country?
Maryland.
Maryland?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Maryland, late 70s. Yeah. Kristofferson.
So she was
orange shag carpet.
Orange shag carpet, orange brown shag carpet. She worked a lot, so we were home and we'd stack those 45s up and just let them go.
You and your siblings?
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, what's number two?
Number two, I guess when I met your dad in school, his and my song was Eddie Rabbitt and Crystal Gayle, Just You and I. So that ended up being our song. So of course that one, it plays a big part in my life.
Hang on, wait a second. So I think we're getting the second side of this story because we heard the story on the previous cast of my dad. So this is on my father's list as well.
Yeah,
so
well, I hope so.
You said it was your song before you met.
No. No. It was the song is Just You and I.
Yeah. So when did this become important to you?
It became our song.
I see.
Yes.
You guys chose it.
Yes.
At a time. And
yes.
So can you confirm a secret message that you would send my father via telephone line to tell him that song was playing on the radio?
Yes, when I would dial his number, let it ring once and hang up. That secret code.
Okay.
Yes.
You heard it here. The story's true. He told us that.
Yes.
I couldn't.
Yes, because yes.
Did you have it? This is my other question for him. He couldn't remember. Did you have any other codes that you would send via telephone or any?
Well, cell phones were not around then, so it was the phone on the wall that you had to actually dial or push button. But no, that was pretty much it.
So you would call his home, let it ring once, hang up, and that
was the code.
That Just You and I was on the radio.
Well, that or thinking of you or miss you or.
Well, how would he know to turn the radio on?
Well, I guess at some point that was part of it. Then it became more than just turn the radio on.
Because then the one ring.
Yeah.
That started probably.
Probably.
Well,
yes.
I don't want to tell your story or tell your detail. That's okay. Well, I think that's really cool. And that was the first I've heard that story. That was really sweet. So ring once.
Yes.
What station? How would he know what station? Or was it all the same? Was there one station?
He was big in the country, so it was probably WPOC.
93.1.
93.1, I think, out of Baltimore. Yeah. And that was the main. I think it still is a pretty big radio station now.
Yeah. Well, I guess Eddie Rabbitt, he would have only been played on. I don't know. Would he have been played on?
No, I think
other stations.
At that point, I think he was mostly country.
Country, yeah. And Dad also said, well, I'll tell you though, if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't heard my father's interview, he mentioned that. You should go back to the previous episode. But he did say that he would write. You guys would pass notes and write JY Wait, JYI.
JY and I. So
JY.
yes, he even to this day on my
Really? To this day.
birthday card. Yep, that's how he ended it. Yep. It holds up.
Man. Okay. Well.
Yep.
Number 3. This is great, Mom, by the way.
Number 3. So then you and your brother came along and well, actually, another song that goes with me and Dad. I always like the song, the Phil Collins version of "Groovy Kind of Love."
Yeah.
So I really like that one. That one, I think, to me, is for me and him. I don't know.
No, I totally get that.
So
yeah, I have songs from
that
my
one
wife.
goes with that one too.
Yes,
So.
100%. And that's great because if I was to pick an artist for you, if I had to pick an artist that I would say this artist reminds me of my mom, it would be Phil Collins for sure. Because and not Genesis, but just like Phil Collins, just like his solo
I like Genesis
stuff.
too, but yeah,
but
a
I
lot
mean,
of his solo
for me,
stuff.
yes, Phil Collins would be the artist that would represent you in my mind. And that's sweet. Yeah. And I think a lot of people would have that. And I know I have that personally, like songs that are just, they mean something to me personally about somebody, and they may not care about a song or know about it. So, okay. So what do you got? 4?
Yes. So number 4, I guess you and your brother came along and you grew up too fast and were gone too fast. So Trace Adkins came out with a song called "Then They Do."
Yeah.
And every time I hear that song, it's just, you guys weren't out of the house yet, I don't believe, when that came out.
No, I was a senior in high school. I remember.
We're getting there, and it's just slaps you in the face how fast that time really goes.
My goodness, I'm experiencing it now.
Yes. Yep.
With my own children.
Yeah. And
teenagers. But I remember that when that song came out, I mean, that, I was a senior in high school. I remember because I remember where I was when hearing that. I was in Maryland. We had moved to Maryland my senior year of high school.
Yes, and back to Maryland.
So this was, maybe Wikipedia could tell me on this, but 2002, 2003 era. So this is early 2000s, thinking about like this post 9/11, right? Recently, and like thinking about children leaving. And I was enlisted in the Navy.
In the Navy, and we were unsure where that was going.
Yeah. And all this idea of time growing up. I mean, but you think every generation has this song, right? Bob Dylan's "Forever Young." Yeah. So I think this idea of growing up in music it's a good. Every generation has their song, and this one was yours.
Yes. Yeah. And Jim Croce's "Time in a Bottle" does that to me too.
Oh, that song.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it just looks back on, if you could do it all again, you do it all again, to have that time again.
But that would have been before me.
That's an older song.
Yeah.
But it's the same message.
Listening to that song now brings you back to that time.
Yes.
But this Trace Adkins song.
That one really does.
I mean, it'll get me tearied up now if I listen to it. I know.
Now, because now you'll be thinking of your son and daughter.
My own daughter. Yeah. Anyway. Well, I don't want to think about that. What do you have next on the song?
Well, the next one is and this is going to affect you, I think. This was, you were almost taken from us, and we were driving home. Me and you in the car. Dad was driving your vehicle back, and you were right out of the hospital, and this song came on, and you held my hand from Virginia Beach all the way home to Maryland, 4 hours. You held my hand the whole way. And this song came on, "I Can Only Imagine" by Mercy Me. And you hadn't reacted to what had happened to you the whole time until that you heard this song, and you broke down in the car, and it just really touched me. And even now when I hear that song, I feel your hand in mine.
Thanks, Mom. You want me to stop? Okay, we can stop. At this part of our conversation, my mom and I had to take a quick break. Over 20 years ago, I was in an accident that should have and almost ended my life. My mom was there, and my dad and my brother were there. After they got the news, and as I was in the hospital recovering, and even after the fact and recovering from those health issues, my mom was there. My mom supported me. My mom never left my side. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about and just thank my mom for talking to me now about this. I can tell you as a parent, and if you're listening and you have children yourself, you understand that the health and well-being and safety of your child is, is more important to you than the health and safety of your own self. Any good parent knows that if it's between me and my child is gonna be the one that's gonna be safe and taken care of. So, in those moments, I can only speak from a father's perspective, but I can only imagine as a mother, and kind of feeling out of control and not being able to take those things from her child must have been very hard and very difficult. But as we talked about this, these are very real and very painful things to remember. And so I want to first thank you, Mom, for talking to me about this and opening up about this a little bit. And two, neither of us would be where we're at today if it wasn't for that. So I thank God that He used that accident or that time in my life to bring me to where I am today and to know the people that I know today. It was a very hard time, but I'm thankful because I'm right where I should be, and that's part of my story, and it's part of hers as well. So we can use these painful moments in our lives. In the moment, it's really hard to be thankful for them, and the pain lasts often forever. But through the pain and through the things that are brought because of the pain and through different stages of grief or whatever, we grow and we become better people. And because of that, we can connect with other people going through similar things. So I just wanted to say thank you, Mom, for opening up about that. And if you find yourself in a similar situation, just know you're not alone and that there's hope on the other side. So, okay, with that, let's get back to the interview. Okay, so we are back. All right. Well, I remember that song, Mom, and I remember that time. And I know that it brings up a lot of emotions for both of us. And, this isn't the space or the podcast to get into that. But what I do think is that song, I remember that song. And, I think before it didn't really mean anything, but, after hearing in that car with you on that car ride, I still don't love the song. It's not a song that I would choose to listen to.
Right.
Some people would, and I'm not judging people who do love that song. I mean, it's been listened to billions of times and is impacted. Anyway, I don't want to discredit what I think of that song.
It's a very simple song, but to me and you, in different ways, it has a lot of meaning.
Yes.
So because of what you went through and what we went through as a family, that song in particular brought a lot of meaning for me in that time period of our lives.
Yeah. And I share that bond with you. So
yeah, thank you.
Okay. So what do you have next? Well, we're both here. Yes. And music is good. There's a lot of other, hopefully, less painful memories to go through. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
but pain is good. I'm sorry. It's good to go through these. Yeah.
So we are 100% convinced that God saved you in that time frame for a reason. And there's a lot of Christian songs that I like that talk about God and His, what He did for us. And the main one that I like a lot is "In Christ Alone" by Brian Luttrell.
Okay.
It shares a lot about faith and
what
how much God loves us. Yes, and what we believe in. And
it's good to have a song that sums up your faith, or it kind of represents an artistic representation of what you believe.
Yes, it gives me.
Yeah, I think for anybody who even believes differently than you, or has their own belief, different religions, different thoughts, I think to have an art that speaks to that belief is a powerful thing. So this is the one for you. This is your faith.
Yes, this is a song that gives me goosebumps every time I hear it, and it's very moving.
Okay. What number are we at?
I don't know. Many. I think we're.
Are we at number 8, number 9?
Yeah. Well,
number 7.
I have one more that pertains to me, and then one I think.
Okay, so I think there's 9 on your list because we didn't make this earlier. So we are at number. So you have 2. You got 2 more.
Yes, I.
All right, so we're at number 8 then. Okay, so track number 8.
So Casting Crowns has a song called "Here I Go Again."
Okay.
So I like that one. It speaks to me. it convicts me in a lot of ways. So
Can I ask so the previous one was a faith-based artist,
yes, and this Casting Crowns is
and
as
there's
well.
also
Yes,
but one more sums up your faith, but this one,
this one is personal to me.
okay,
It
that's
convicts
fine.
me in a lot of ways to do
Okay,
things, and
okay. We don't have to get into personal
okay,
convictions,
yes.
but it's important to
Well, it's
you
if
for
you hear
for
the
that reason.
song,
Okay,
you'll understand.
okay,
Yes.
great. And then the last one.
Well, the last one is I actually listened to it again because I remember the chorus, and then I listened to it again, and I think this one more goes to a lot of the reason why you're doing what you're doing with this podcast, and it's mainly about relationship type song, but I think it goes to a lot of this pretty much in the way that it comes across. It's Trisha Yearwood. The
Mm,
song remembers when, and the lyrics are mainly about a boyfriend girlfriend type
mhm,
thing, but I think it can apply to a lot of this. Like a lot of this, the song remembers when, you talk about your remember your youth and what you
mm.
listen to, and when you're older and your kids are growing, and part of the reason why you're doing what you're doing because the song remembers when, and it brings back those emotions and feelings and thoughts.
Yeah, I have not heard this one. This is Trisha
Yes.
Yearwood. Is this a new one?
No,
Oh,
it's
this
it's
old
it's a much older
one.
one.
Okay.
Yeah. But I
So you
remember
liked this. You liked this when you heard it? You liked the idea, the concept of
I
the
did.
power of
I did.
music.
And I thought I only remembered the chorus. So I only remembered her chorus there. And it says the song remembers when.
Yeah.
And then when I listened to the whole song again, it's more about a relationship.
Mm,
But the theme is there.
okay. I see. Yeah, there's this idea in called abreaction, or to have an abreactive response. You ever heard this term, abreaction?
No.
It's to have an abreactive response, from my understanding, is when an outside source, and usually it's an art form, pulls memories or pulls emotions that are already in you. They pull them out, versus an art form that's like imposing an emotion on you.
Mm,
It's actually pulling out core, like memories or recollection, and that sense of something that's in you that's being drawn out is you're having an abreactive response to
mm,
that medium. And to me, yes, I agree. This whole podcast is set up on that whole premise that there are some beautiful moments and stories, and you've shared 9 of them with me today.
yes.
That are, or maybe 8 of them that are are in you and are in us. And this beautiful form of music and these powerful songs can remind us, or the song remembers when, and it allows us, it gives us the gift to remember as well. And sometimes those gifts are joyous. And I think ringing your boyfriend one time on the phone and hanging up,
Yes,
just to send a little like heart emoji,
that's right. It
back
brings
in the 70s,
lot of emotions.
shag carpet and
80s.
everything.
That was the 80s
The
back
80s,
then.
okay.
Yes.
But what if Kris Kristofferson was on? Would it be 1 or 2 rings? No, I'm just kidding. But no, the
Well,
idea of, anyway, to get back, and I don't want to. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know how all this stuff works, but I do know that there is power in this stuff,
yes.
and it's a very beautiful thing. And these stories, I really appreciate you sharing with me,
Sure.
Mom.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, well, your hamburger's here,
Awesome.
and let's cue up the jukebox, and
Alrighty,
we'll
let's
listen to some
go.
good music.
Alrighty.
All right. Thank you. Well, that was pretty amazing. Thank you so much, Mom, for coming in here to Mel's Diner. That conversation was something that I will never forget. And I'm so grateful to have this recording and those stories recorded and these songs that you've selected in this playlist, so I can go back and listen to them and be reminded of how great and how amazing you are, as not just a mom, but my mom. So thank you so much. I am really honored to have done that. And so thank you. Well, if you were keeping track, there was part of that conversation where we figured out what number we were on, but we were wrong. I thought my mom had 9 songs. There were actually 8 songs selected. I think we may have even skipped one. So we might have to have her back to talk about the one that we probably missed. But I like to have these playlists to be 10 songs. 10 songs is kind of like where I started with Mel's Diner when I was sending out the songs that I liked. 10 songs is just a good number for amount of songs for a playlist. So I'm going to round it out. So we got 8 songs that she selected, and I'm going to round it out with 2 more here. And these 2 songs remind me of you, Mom. Remind me of based on our conversation. It made me think of these songs. Made me think of you. First one is from 1970, Your Song, written and performed by Elton John. Actually, it might have been Bernie that wrote this, but anyway, performed by Elton John. This song is just so beautiful. I think we all know it. And I think, if you're like me, when you hear this song and that piano intro, you're just like, yes, this song is so good. And you're going to sing every word and it's going to move you. And it moves me now in light of this conversation. It moves me in a way that it hadn't before. So this song is taking on a lot new meaning just from this conversation. So yeah, I'm getting emotional now. But Mom, this world is better because you're in it. So thanks. So there's the first one. And then track number 10 for this week's playlist is another Phil Collins song. So this one's from 1981. If I was to pick one song that kind of represents my mom in my mind or makes me think of you, it's this song. It's In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. So, if you listen to the lyrics of the song, whatever, Phil Collins, whoever wrote the song, wrote it for a specific reason. We all know that just because the lyrics talk about somebody not helping somebody who's drowning, that doesn't mean that's what we like about it, right? It's the emotion, it's the feeling, it's the importance of that song. But the reason this makes me think of you, Mom, or my mother is the drums, that drum solo. And you all know what I'm talking about. And you are all going to listen to it. And you're all going to hit whatever surface is around you or air drum that drum solo. We all do it. It's innate in us as humans to do that. So this song makes me think of you just because my mother always loved the drums. She always wanted to play the drums. When I hear amazing drummers or drum solos, especially from songs from the 80s, it reminds me of you, Mom. So this is the one song that if I was to pick that one song, this is yours, In the Air Tonight. It just makes me think of you, puts a smile on my face. I can't hear it and not think of you. So I love it. And I know you love this song as well. And, you love Phil Collins. This is the second Phil Collins in this playlist, which is not a bad thing. So anyway, here's your 10 songs. All of these songs, like I said at the beginning, are in a playlist. You can choose Spotify, you can choose Apple, whatever you subscribe to. Listen to these songs now. Think of these stories and these songs. Hope they soundtrack your day. I hope you take them with you. And I hope these songs have now taken on new meaning for you. And we can enjoy those connections that we just built. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for visiting Mel's Diner. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace. Thank you so much for visiting Mel's Diner today. We love serving you those very important stories and songs, and we really hope you become a regular. If you or someone you know would love to be on the show, please reach out to me. Mel's Diner Jukebox at gmail.com. And a playlist of all the songs that were selected from the jukebox today can be found in a link in the show notes. And now, as we listen to each song through the lens of those amazing stories, we share in the connection that we just built through the power of great music and incredible people.